Hello everyone, welcome to my update US gossip channel. Kody Brown's so-called apology tour begins not with a triumphant reclaiming of the family he fractured, but with the unmistakable heaviness of someone who waited far too long to do the right thing, and the journey to North Carolina to face Janelle Brown becomes the centerpiece of the latest episode of Sister Wives, setting the tone for a chapter that feels both overdue and unexpectedly vulnerable as the cameras follow him stepping off the plane, looking more unsure of himself than he has in years. For weeks, TLC has teased that this season would crack open the next stage of the family saga, but few expected Kody's first stop to be Janelle, steady, direct, and the wife who called him out long before anyone else had the courage to do it. Their separation in 2022 was quiet compared to Christine's explosive departure and Mary's slow emotional unraveling, but the aftermath left its own scars, unresolved tension, abandoned dreams, and the lingering ache of a partnership that once felt like the calm center of the Brown household. The episode opens with a montage of Coyote Pass, the land that, ironically, has become the symbol of everything the Browns lost instead of the future they once promised: dried grass, dusty lots, the purple Flagstaff sky overhead. As the memories unfold, the audience is reminded of the recent sale confrontation that pushed Kody over the emotional edge. That moment, where Kody and Robin sat in one car while Janelle and Mary waited in another, was cold enough to frost over a desert, and the lack of a single greeting or nod of acknowledgement made it clear that the damage was not only deep but calcified. Even after the broker announced the sale, no words were exchanged, just silent judgment, disappointment, and years of resentment radiating between them like a wall that none of them attempted to climb. In the aftermath, Kody confided to Robin that something shifted inside him during that uncomfortable encounter, seeing his ex-wives together without him, seeing the land that once symbolized unity become a marker of failure, and realizing that every unresolved argument and every broken promise still lived in the air between them. He claimed therapy sessions replayed in his mind afterward, reminding him of the advice he ignored for years, that accountability means naming the harm you caused, not defending the reasons you think you had. He told Robin that for the first time he understood he needed to own his part in the collapse, an admission that fans greeted with both disbelief and suspicion. Was this finally a humbled Kody? Or was this another attempt to narrate his redemption for the cameras, one more storyline to soften his image after seasons of conflict? Those questions linger over the episode like storm clouds as he drives through North Carolina toward Janelle's new home, practicing apologies under his breath, as if he knows that the woman waiting for him is not the same one he used to charm with grand visions of plural family harmony. Janelle, meanwhile, is calm but firm as she prepares to meet him, a contrast to the emotional turbulence Kody radiates from the moment he arrives. In her confessional, she admits she agreed to the meeting because peace is better than bitterness. But she also says she does not expect miracles, and definitely does not expect Kody to suddenly become the man he should have been years ago. When Kody sits across from her, it becomes clear he is more nervous than he wants to appear, rubbing his hands together, struggling to find the right words. He starts with an admission viewers never thought they'd hear, that he was angry, bitter, resentful, and unfair during their last years together, and that the emotional chaos of the family breakup turned him into someone he barely recognizes now. He says he is sorry, not just for the arguments, but for the emotional distance, the loneliness he left her to manage, the children he failed to show up for, and the harsh words he let spill in interviews and on camera. Janelle listens quietly, letting him talk himself into emotional exhaustion before she answers. When she finally speaks, her response is measured but devastating. She tells him that the man sitting in front of her is not the man she married, nor the man she hoped would someday reconnect their fractured family. She says that over the past few years, she watched him become someone she could no longer trust, someone she had to emotionally detach from just to protect her own well-being. In her confessional, she expands on that thought, explaining that the public comments Kody made after their separation felt like a betrayal she never expected from him. She says the version of Kody who appeared on camera seemed harsh, combative, dismissive, even cruel at times, and that she spent months wondering if he had always been that man and she simply never saw it before the stress of family collapse peeled away the layers. Janelle recalls the years when she believed wholeheartedly in the dream of a unified household, of raising children together with support from all parents, of shared dinners and shared responsibilities and shared love, but she says that somewhere along the way, Kody stopped believing in that dream with her. Instead, she felt him pull away, redirecting his energy, attention, and emotional bandwidth into other relationships while leaving her to shoulder the load of raising kids who needed more from their father than he was giving. She tells him that apologies, while appreciated, cannot rewrite the hurt, nor can they magically rebuild trust or restore a bond that has long since been severed. Kody looks visibly shaken as she speaks, clearly expecting gratitude or relief or some sign that his apology was the beginning of a reunion, not romantically, but emotionally, as co-parents and former partners. But Janelle's face remains calm and resolute, her voice unwavering as she tells him that forgiveness is not the same as reconciliation. She says she can accept his apology and still maintain the boundaries she built for her own peace. In her confessional, she admits she believes Kody is trying, but she also questions why it took the sale of Coyote Pass and the embarrassment of facing all his ex-wives without any remaining power dynamic for him to finally see the consequences of his behavior. She wonders whether he is truly sorry, or simply sorry for the way he now appears to others. The episode crescendos as Kody, voice trembling, admits something no one saw coming: "I didn't just lose my family. I broke it. I did that." For once, there is no defensiveness, no blame, no excuses, just a quiet acknowledgement of guilt that hangs in the room like a confession decades in the making. And yet, even that raw vulnerability is not enough to move Janelle in the way he hoped. She nods, acknowledges the courage it took for him to say it, and then tells him gently but firmly that accountability is not a moment, it is a practice. It is not one apology, it is consistent change. It is not promising to do better, it is showing up, day after day, even when the cameras are not rolling. She tells him she hopes he does change, not for her, but for their children, who still carry the weight of his absence in ways he has yet to fully acknowledge. By the end of the conversation, the audience can sense that Kody expected something like closure, maybe even the relief of knowing he had repaired one piece of the fractured Brown legacy. But Janelle gives him something far more difficult: honesty without resentment, boundaries without hostility, and forgiveness that does not open the door to deeper emotional reconciliation. When Kody leaves North Carolina, he looks exhausted, almost deflated, as if he realized for the first time that apologies do not guarantee redemption, especially not with a woman as grounded, self-sufficient, and clear-eyed as Janelle Brown. She does not hate him, nor does she wish him harm. She simply refuses to rewrite history or pretend that an apology can undo years of hurt. In her final confessional of the episode, Janelle tells the camera that she is proud of how far she has come since their separation. She says she loves her life in North Carolina, loves the independence she regained, and loves the peace she feels away from the chaos that once defined her marriage. She acknowledges that Kody is trying to change, but says that whatever transformation he undergoes will happen without her involvement. "We're different people now," she says softly. "And that's okay." The episode ends with a split screen, Kody driving away into the quiet North Carolina evening, still wrestling with the weight of his own mistakes, while Janelle steps back into her home, an image of a woman who did not need an apology to move forward, but accepted it anyway because she is choosing peace over bitterness, clarity over confusion, and self-respect over the hope of a man who waited too long to offer what she deserved years ago. Kody's apology tour may have officially begun, but Janelle's response makes it clear that this journey will be nothing like he expected, and whether he truly transforms, or simply performs repentance for the cameras, remains to be seen as Sister Wives unveils its next chapter in the endlessly complicated story of the Brown family. And yet, even with the emotional weight of their meeting still hanging in the air, the episode doesn't let Kody walk away without one final moment of reckoning. As he reaches his car, he pauses, staring at the steering wheel, visibly shaken by the realization that Janelle's peace doesn't include him, not as a partner, not as a confidant, not even as someone she needs closure from. She already found closure on her own. The cameras catch him wiping his eyes, though whether the tears are from regret, humiliation, or the dawning truth that he cannot charm or talk his way out of the consequences anymore is left intentionally ambiguous. Meanwhile, Janelle stands inside her doorway, watching him leave for what might be the final emotional goodbye between them, and her expression is not cold, nor triumphant, just resolute. In her confessional, she says she hopes Kody really does change because somewhere in there is the man I once loved, but she also makes it clear that finding that man again is his responsibility, not hers. She has carried enough. She has mothered enough. She has forgiven enough. Now it is his turn to grow without leaning on the emotional labor of the women he hurt. As the screen fades to a preview of Kody's next stop on his apology tour, hinting that Meri may not be nearly as patient as Janelle, the narrator teases viewers with the promise that not everyone will accept his remorse with the same grace. Some wounds, the show suggests, are deeper. Some apologies are too late. But for now, the chapter closes on Janelle, the woman who once held the family together through logic and quiet strength, walking back into a life she built without Kody's help, proving that the strongest apology is not the one given, but the one no longer needed.